All right, ladies and gentlemen, fellow decoders around the world, wherever you may be, my name is Logan, and this is Decode Your Reality. Today, we're gonna be breaking down and decoding Pope 201. This will be Pope 201 decoded. More importantly, the 201. I have been asked to do this by so many people. Like, I've been asked, like, what is the 201? What is the 20? Because there's obviously the basic connections in numerology where you can take a lot of words and they link up to the 201. But the 201's tied to the Pope because of his stay in the Vatican guest house. Okay, in the Vatican, where he stays in suite 201. Okay, now there's a lot of information here. You can start with decoding St. Pius. In 1903, he became the first Pope to live in the apartments overlooking St. Peter's Square. There's a lot of nuggets in here. But beyond the basic fundamentals of numerology, connecting the words to numbers, we got to take a look at what this 201 really means. What is the hidden meaning behind it? That's what we're interested in here. So, as I often say, put on a pair of headphones, block out the outside world. This one's going to be a lot of fun, so let's jump into this one. I'm going to start out with Chaldean numerology. A lot of people ask me, Logan, why do you use Chaldean numerology? Well, this should tell you a little bit more about how important Chaldean numerology is. To me, it's probably the most important cipher there is on the planet. It's the oldest numerology in the world, as far as I've found through the research. And if you just use this cipher and not use any other ones, you'll have a foundation that is really unbreakable. Notice that Chaldean matches the word Catholic, which matches the word religion. There's also a word called sports, which equals 27 in Chaldean. Currency equals 27 in Chaldean. Jupiter equals 27 in Chaldean numerology. So this is the very reason why, or one of the reasons why, it chose me. My last name, Payet, is 27. So this is one of the main reasons why I use it and I favor it, okay? Because of these connections. Now, what we want to do here is we want to get an extension beyond the words into numbers, because that's basic stuff. That's easy to do. Now we want to bring mathematics into this, and we want to look to the primes. So this very important ones, and it's so fascinating because, ladies and gentlemen, you know, like, it's not about me, but I was born at 1:03 a.m. My last name is Payet, which equals 27. Coincidence? No, you're talking about a scripted reality. Predestined, scripted reality. No one gets a hall pass. There are no exceptions with that, by the way. That is my final answer. But 103 being the 27th prime number. And now we want to get another extension beyond that to get some more layers of this decoding onion, so to speak. And now we get into these two elements on the periodic table, because the elements have so much to do with this reality. And when you start connecting numerology and mathematics to the periodic table, a lot of these elements, they're necessary for our body. They're embedded into nature. People are digging them up from the ground, and they're using them in materials that we use on a daily basis. So these elements have everything to do with our reality, and all we got to do is just properly, just simply connect the dots. So the first one is aluminium, which there's that notorious, that massive, huge number 13. 13, the bloodlines, the Knights at the Round Table, there's so much significance to the 13, and it's aluminium. And if you go to Science and the Royal Society of Chemistry, you're going to see, and I just want to point this out, when you go to the Royal Society of Chemistry and you go to aluminium, you're going to see, because some of you have just started looking into this, you're going to see this is the average isotope of aluminium, but you have to round it up. It's going to be isotope number 27. Okay, that's how you round these things up. So that's why I have it here, just to simply show you the ease and the simplicity of this. And this means a luminary body, which I've shown in my illumination decoded. It's a luminary body going down into the hole to play the game. It's spirit coming down to incarnate into matter and becoming a human being. Now, there's also this element right here, which is another big one. It's called rhodium. And rhodium is where you're going to be connected to the blood types. That's why we have the RH factor. You're going to either have it or you won't have it. The RH factor. And 45 is a very big number. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. But there's the 103. It's going to be 102.906. It's going to be isotope 103. And there's the connecting point. And of course, you can connect these two and start to have fun, to start to get a little bit deeper layers with this whole entire decoded reality system here, okay? But this 45 is a very, very important number because it's tied to Pandora's box. And I can assure you that this organization, their job is to keep this game moving. The game is called life. You're playing it, but it needs more players. It needs people to screw, to have sex, to procreate. And as they do, spirit enters inside of them, and now they're being controlled. The little voice in your head is what controls you. I know, except for you. You're probably the only human being where your mind's not controlling you. I'm just having fun, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get all bent out of shape because this is just my dry humor. The voice in your head owns you. Okay, Pandora's box. And it's interesting because the word Genesis and the word Revelation, which are the first and last books of the Bible, are going to be matching to the 31 and the 14. How about that? Coincidence? Not on your Nelly, as Bob Proctor would say. Of course not. It's all connected because we live in a predestined, scripted reality. And this organization, whether you like them or not, they are doing their job, their responsibility, which is to continually control people and have people incarnate and procreate and promulgate the Bible, which is a spell book. Okay, so I wanted to start there, but let's go a little bit deeper here, and I wanted to single out this element right here since it is tied to that prime 27, the 103, tied to religion, Catholic, Chaldean, etc., etc. It's aluminium. This one is such a big, important element. Covered this in my illumination decoded, as I have covered so many other times. But I've also covered this in my beast decoded. I hope every single one of you have watched this by now. The beast decoded. This, what you're looking at right here, is the zodiac wheel. And the Bible is astrology. Astrotheology. The Bible is a book of astrology. There are many passages that tell you that it's astrology. And the 12 disciples are the 12 zodiac signs. Kind of a no-brainer. And Jesus is the head honcho that sits in the middle. This is why the Catholic Church promulgates the cross and Jesus Christ. That's why they do that. That is one of the reasons why they do that. Okay? But this is the beast that is above your head. And it's using you for your energy. It's harvesting your energy. And when you do the astro alchemy, where each zodiac sign is attributed to a specific element on the periodic table. Aries has hydrogen, Taurus has helium. It's just simply connecting the first sign of Aries with the first element of hydrogen, and so on and so forth. And you go all the way around till you get to 12, and then you got to go in the middle, and that's aluminium. And in my Beast Decoded, I showed how it's connected to the 187. But what I did not do is add up all the numbers to get you the complete cycle of these numbers itself. And it's taking every single number you see on these elements. Hydrogen is 1 proton and it has an isotope of 1. Helium is 2 protons, it has an isotope of 4. Adding them, it's simply just adding up all the numbers you see on each of these elements. And this is the total you're going to get using that trusty calculator, 278. Now, where can we go with this? Okay, where can we go with this? Well, we go to this right here. Now we connect it again to alchemy. We connect it to the 109th element called metnerium. 109 is a very special number because it is the battery number. Battery is 19, but the 1 and the 9 represent the anode and the cathode, which keeps this game going. We live inside of a battery, and you are a little cell in the battery. That's why you have trillions of cells in your body, because you become the battery. But this is the connecting point, the metanerium. And, I had decoded this in my Octagon Decoded. All of you on Patreon, big shout out to you. This is an exclusive on Patreon. But how can you connect the mainstream to this? How can you connect a mainstream position of the Ultimate Fighting Championship to the Vatican and religion? It's sports. It's all entertainment, and it's all designed to harvest energy. And there's that 109. Okay, so why I'm showing this, and I have a specific reason for this, but let's connect the dots. So going back here, we have the 278 tied to the great beast, the 616. 6 zodiac signs on your left, 6 zodiac signs on your right, and 1 in the middle. 616. The total is 278. 278 is connected to metanerium. It has 109 protons, which is connected to the Ultimate Fighting Championship. What is this telling us? You are in the octagon. The octagon is an 8-sided polygonal shape. Go check out the Large Hadron Collider that CERN uses. It is an 8-sided polygonal shape. The Large Hadron Collider, that equals 66, which matches the total amount of books in the Protestant Bible, 66. Coincidence? Of course not. Because the Bible is a book about transhumanism. So the 109 is the 29th prime number. The 29 is a prime number. It's the 10th. And then we connect it to the 10th letter in the Hebrew. Why Hebrew? Because the Catholic Church is just following Judaism. Why I say that is because the Catholic Church, they use this Bible right here. This is their official Bible. They don't use the King James. They use the Latin Vulgate, which is actually a 4th century, which is much older, way older than the King James Bible. The King James Bible came out in the 13th century, I think it was. That was like over time and a half here. This book right here has 80 books to it. I'm going to get to that, but this is the book they use, the Latin Vulgate. Okay, this is their official book. All right, the Latin Vulgate. And when you go research this book, you're going to see that Saint Jerome is the one that translated it. And what he did was he translated it from Hebrew. Okay, because the Protestant book, the King James, what it says is it was converted from the Greek. And that means the Old Testament was a Greek translation. And the Old Testament is not a Greek language, it is a Hebrew language. So what Saint Jerome did, he converted the Latin Vulgate, and he converted it from the Hebrew. Okay, this is why there's no separation between New Testament to Old Testament. Christianity, Judaism, it's all Judaism. Whether or not you want to agree upon that, if you're someone if you're a Christian, you're just Jewish. It's the same thing. You can't have one without the other. I know your special title of calling yourself a Christian makes you separate from the Jews, but that doesn't. It's the same thing. Because the Catholic Church is following Judaism. Okay? You can't have one without the other, which is why you see these connections right here. Yod being the 10th letter. 10 is the binary system. The 10th card in the tarot is the Wheel of Fortune, spinning the wheel to determine your fate. Right on this card is the Yod He Vah He. Right on it. These are heavily influenced by Jewish mysticism. Jewish mysticism. So, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you with great confidence that this person and the entire Catholic Church and Christianity is nothing other than a reformed Judaism. It's the same thing. You may not want to hear that. You may not want to accept that. That's fine. Again, I'm not here to try to twist your arm, but I'm here to tell you how this whole thing works. You're in the octagon, and you're in for the fight of your life. That's why you have these ups and downs, and you have pain and suffering, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, and we're going to get more into this 29, and man equals 10, tax equals 10. Okay, we're going to get more and more into this as we continue to move forward into it. And this is the very reason why, or I should say one of the main reasons why the hats These little beanies called zucchettos have 8 sections to them because it represents the octagon. Again, go watch my sex Decoded. In my sex Decoded, I showed the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland by CERN, and the device looks like it is in the shape of an octagon. Why the octagon? It's tied to the octopus. And what is the octopus? That's the question. Well, it's tied to Yaldabaoth. It's tied to the demiurge. In my Vatican Decoded, and you have St. Peter's square here, you have an 8-sided polygonal with the phallus in the middle, giving and receiving information. This is the octahedron. And this shape, the octagon, I should say, you can see it has 45-degree angles to it. 45 is Pandora's box. Each one of these 8 slices of pie have a 45-degree angle, and we can clearly connect those to Pandora's box and the 103, being tied to the 45th element, which is tied to Catholicism. Okay, it's very easy to see this. Now that you have the eyes to see, and again, you see I'm not deviating away from and using other ciphers to give me more chances to get it to connect to the numbers that I want to. I'm just using Chaldean. This is the methodology that I strive to use. Now, I also covered this in my Yaldabaoth Decoded, that the uncanny results of Yaldabaoth being tied to the Vatican, their jurisdiction is called the Holy See. The uncanniness that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ciphers, probably more than that, that exactly match each other. Coincidence? No. Not in the least bit. And you see that the Holy See is 29, Yaldabaoth is 29 in the Chaldean, and I just go right back up here, and you can see how it's connected to the 109. And the 109 is tied to Metnerium, and the 278 is tied to this, the Stargate, which you can even get into the Gnostic Archons because it's tied to Yaldabaoth. Yaldabaoth being the leader of the Archons, which simply just ties to the Celestials. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, it's a team effort. And it's harvesting our energy, folks. Okay, that's just what it does. That's the job of it. The octopus and the demiurge. Yaldabaoth. Okay, Yaldabaoth. These are uncanny connections. And if you watch my Yaldabaoth Decoded and Vatican Decoded, you would have seen there is no room for exceptions with these connections. They're just completely solidified in these decodes that I've done these many years ago. All right, so moving along, let's take a look at Pope Francis. I'm going to get to that 201. I know that's what this decode's all about. Just hang in there. Let's take a look at Pope Francis, his birthday on the 17th of December, remembering that he is the very first Jesuit Pope, and he is the first Pope from the Tropic of Capricorn, which is a Chronos sign. And remember that Saturn is tied to Yaldabaoth, if you study the Gnostic Archon traditions. But here is his birth cards, so you can see what he's up to, his code. He's got this as his birth card. The 23rd card, it's the Ace of Clubs, the Ace of Wands. The connection here, the moon equals 23, but Mercury, the planet of commerce, the planet of communication, the trickster. I'm going to show you why this is the most important standout for Pope 201. Mercury being the messenger. And then the spirit card for the Ace of Wands is the Two of Cups. This is contract. So his job is to create magic. This is the magic wand, the Hollywood, abracadabra, and then to get people to create contracts. And obviously, part of that is the rituals of eating the Eucharist and drinking the wine and passing the bread. You don't have to you don't even have to eat. You just pass it around. I was part of that when I was a kid growing up. did all those rituals. No, thank you. Not anymore, because I know what they mean. Okay, so contract, 2 of Cups. 38 is the binary system. All right, but moving along, ladies and gentlemen, I now want to show, and I've decoded the Pope and his zodiac wheel. If you're interested in watching the full presentation, go check out the Pope Decoded. I think I did it live. But here is his birth chart, and the big standout is going to be right here, because he has a very important group of energy here. He's got Rahu, his dragon's head, his desire. He's got the spirit of the sun, and then he has the mighty Zeus, the largest planet in the canopy, and pledging to the church. And then Zeus means the church. You have the sun, which is tied to the light of the world in the Jesus Christ character. And it's just so interesting because conjunct, or sitting right next to these celestials, is the mighty Mercury, the planet of communication. Remembering that Jesus was a messenger. He has it in the 9th house of Sagittarius, in the 7th house, I'd say, through the 9th house of Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. So Jupiter sits in its own defaulted position here. So it's having a field day here, and it's in the 19th nakshatra card. This is the advantage of using Vedic astrology, because you get the nakshatras, which are the micromanagers of the zodiac. You have this mula, and mula is the root, setting the roots down. That's what this means right here. And what's so fascinating about this 7th house is across the way in his 1st house, there is the mighty star Sirius there. And it's in the sign of Gemini, and Gemini is the prison, tied to Praseodymium, tied to the 59 rosary beads in Catholicism, tied to the prison planet. That's what this whole thing's saying right here. The skinny in it, and of course he's got Kronos up here. He is from the Tropic of Capricorn. He's from Argentina. He's got Kronos in the sign of Aquarius, moving the Catholic Church and the Christian faith and Judaism all embedded together, moving them into the age of Aquarius, because Jesus clearly said in Luke 22 verses 10, "Follow me into the house with a man bearing a pitcher of water." That is Aquarius, because Jesus came in the age of Pisces and said, "Hey, I'm not part of this kingdom. I'm going to be part of this kingdom. So follow me into that house of Aquarius." And it just so happens he has the god of time, Kronos, tied to Yaldabaoth in the 25th nakshatra. And wait till I show you what that's tied to. Amongst all other things, with the moon and Venus here in the 22nd in Capricorn, there's so many layers to break all this stuff down. But very first and foremost, let's touch on this trio here in his 7th house, 7 being tied to Libra. Libra is a Venus-ruled energy, and his Venus is in Capricorn, and his Capricorn's ruled by Kronos, which is in Aquarius. So it all ends up going back to Aquarius, which is in his 9th house. But you can see this is what he's been given for his astrological tarot cards here. In the 19th nakshatra called Mula, the 19th card is the sun. He has the sun there. What does Mula mean? It means the root. He's establishing a brand new root. Yeah, you know what I'm going to tell you? You know what his root is? Transhumanism. He's establishing the Aquarian barrier of the new age called transhumanism. Cryptocurrency. That's what sports has all been alluding to. If you watch the Super Bowl, the Chiefs beating the 49ers, it was all pledging to cryptocurrency. Chiefs equal 25, crypto equals 25. They won with 25 points. This is all a ritual that is pledging towards crypto and moving towards transhumanism. I have the Hermit card here because it's the 9th card, and the sign of Sagittarius is the 9th house, or the 9th zodiac sign. So he is a messenger of the sun and Zeus, and his desire is to give you his knowledge that is from his spirit. And he has the messenger there. Mercury is best buddies with the sun. And now here's where we get into the 201 because of this. You see, all you got to do is relate right back to alchemy, and you can see that the element Mercury has an atomic isotope of 201. 1. So now you know, ladies and gentlemen, it's not just, well, it's this reverse ordinal, this matches this and all this nonsense. No, it's because of Mercury. Mercury is the messenger. Jesus was a messenger. That's why the church uses the Jesus Christ character. And across the way is Gemini, which is the prison. But that's for obviously deeper layers. But this 201 is connected to Mercury. So now you know what this whole tribute is to him into Suite 201. Now you have the eyes to see what it means. It means this Mercury position right here. And Sagittarius being ruled by Zeus, the Olympian. Okay, and this is all tied to the archons. Okay, all tied to the archons. And it's tied to the Latin Vulgate. Again, the Bible the Catholic Church exclusively uses is the Latin Vulgate Bible. 80 books. 80 books. Now you can see why the Vulgate has 80 books. Because it is tied to the messenger called Mercury. Mercury is 201. Okay? Now you know, folks. Now you know the extended layers beyond the basic connecting of the dots with the words to numbers. That's like basic decoding. You got to go beyond that. You got to go beyond that. So when we get into the Vulgate, the official Vatican word for it, it's a Latin word, it's Vulgata. And that's at 24 hours in a day, and that matches the original spelling for Jesus. It's in the Greek because Jesus was a New Testament idea brought out on the world stage by the Roman Catholic Church, and it is a 24. This is going to lead down to the number 6. 6 is also tied to Chronos. Chronos also equals 24. By the way, Chronos in the original Greek is a 24. Okay? 24. That's why you see the show 24 with Kiefer Sutherland. He was Jack stuck in the box. So many different fun connections that we can look at this here. This is going to reduce down to the number 6. 6 is the last day of creation. 6 is carbon. 6 is the first perfect number in mathematics. I could go on and on and on how deep this goes. But you can clearly start to see, and I decoded this. This was an exclusive on Patreon. Jesus Decoded. And I showed with absolute clarity what this whole Jesus character is all about and what it's connected to. And I started to use the Latin, which Latin is the Francis Bacon, which is using all capital letters because that's exclusively what the Catholic Church uses, all about the Vatican, is the capital letters. And you can see the significance of this 24 and 204 and how Jesus is tied to the sun, because the Latin word for sun is solus. Reduced down, it's the 33. Reduced down, it's the 33, which reduced down is the number 6. The word for gold is aurum in Latin, right there. 204. Reduced down, it's the 24. Now you can see where we have a bigger picture going on. Now you can see, folks, you can see it. Now you can see it. And then the biggest humdinger of them all to connect all together is when you bring the string of the numbers into the string of the golden ratio, pure mathematics, and the number 24 is occupying digits 79 and 80, and we go right back to alchemy, and bam, there it is. We have gold, which is the sun, and we have the best buddy of the sun, which is the messenger of the sun. It is Mercury. This is going to be isotope 201. They're going to round that up. Okay, so now you have the eyes to see what this whole looks like, connecting numerology, mathematics, alchemy, etc., etc. So now there are no accidents. Now you know what this means. Okay, and he has Mercury conjunct with the sun. Okay, with the sun. So now you can see what this whole thing means here. Undeniable connections here. Now, when we take the numbers on that element Mercury, we add up the neutrons, protons, and electrons, we get 281. And what significance is this? Well, I covered this in my Bitcoin Decoded. I covered it in my Leave the World Behind Decoded. This is a screenshot from the documentary called Cryptopia. And this was the locker that they used to portray the money, the cryptocurrency being put inside 821, which is a permutation of the 281. Coincidence? Of course not. I'm telling you, they are promulgating the age of Aquarius, which is an age of transhumanism. Okay? That's what this whole cryptocurrency is all about. And what the age of Aquarius, if you want more deeper stuff, go watch my Crypto Kingdom Part 1 and Part 2. Clearly showed the theology back up with Revelation. Jesus talking about not being part of this world. His kingdom is going to be the kingdom of the Aquarian age. Okay, right here. And you can see he's from Argentina, which is Capricorn. He's got Kronos in Aquarius and Capricorn setting up the timeline here to establish itself and then work through it. That's how all this stuff works. And you can see the permutation of that. There are no accidents with this. Okay, none whatsoever. And remember, Mercury is the planet of commerce. He is the planet of money, commerce, the exchange, doing business, fortune, the planet of commerce. So this is not an accident and he is the messenger to tell you this. Now you have the eyes to see it. Okay, there are no accidents with this now. So I'm going to go back to, this Mula here. Like, why is this so important in his chart? Because he's stacked here with the Sun, Jupiter, and Rahu, his ultimate desire. Well, Mula, and I'm going to tell you, this is why he's living through a scripted reality, as is you are. Again, you don't have to like his job, but he's doing his job as Mula. The 19, again, remember, what is the 19? It's part of the 109. I can go back up here. And there's the 109. It's just a variance of the 19. Okay, variance of the 19. But the Mula, the definition of it, if you follow along, okay, it's typically associated with the mysterious, spiritual, or hidden aspects of existence. Mula symbolizes roots and signifies various forms of investigative work. Consequently, Rahu in Mula, and this is Jupiter and the Sun, may indicate a person driven to acquire knowledge through research-driven pursuits and eager to share their findings with others. This research could span a wide range of fields such as medicine, technology, cryptocurrency, finance, cryptocurrency, or the mystical and spiritual realms we previously discussed. They may excel as mystics or occultists seeking to uncover life's profound secrets. That's what, if you have any placements here, you as an individual in your chart, well, that's part of your description. Part of your description. You clearly read it was part of finance. Finance. Okay? It was part of finance, folks. That's what it means for the Pope. So, going into this 201, going a little bit deeper for this Pope 201 Decoded, where is it in the string of the golden ratio? It starts at digit 787. That does not include the 1 point. Several ways to look at this: 787, 788, 789. And what's important about the 787? It is a freaking prime number. It's not just any prime number. It's the 138th prime number. You know what that 138's tied to? Jason from Archaics has done a great deal of work on the Phoenix event. Well, what do you think the Phoenix event is all about? Ushering in cryptocurrency. Illuminating fiat currency. Ushering in the new world. The age of Aquarius. That's what this whole thing's talking about. I covered this in Leave the World Behind, how important this 138 was, and how it was tied to the number 68, which is tied to the killing name. It was tied to the world wars. It was tied to massive upheaval in our world to create the change, to create order out of chaos. Okay, so check out my Leave the World Behind Part 1 and Part 2. I've covered it twice. And what this whole thing's been telling the world, what's preparing for the world to come, is a tower moment. And I'm telling you right now, the Catholic Church knows about this tower moment, and he's the spokesperson to carry it through. Okay, I think he's the 66th Pope as well. 66th Pope. So a few other things right here. Here's the building name. This is the building he lives in, Suite 201's in Domus Sancti Marti. 68. See the 68 here? Genesis 19 verses 24, where it talked about the Lord raining fire and brimstone upon the earth, bringing the change of the earth. Tied to that. But what's that change? Well, I mean, it's tied to artificial intelligence. So, you know, again, what are we moving into? You're moving into the age of artificial intelligence, which, ladies and gentlemen, that could be what's ruling the entire world. That's what God could. God could just be a computer. And I'm saying that for fun. I'm not saying that for an absolute statement. I'm saying that for fun. Okay. But there's kind of that connecting point right there. And I will remind you, I think this is my last slide here. The total eclipse is a big deal. A lot of people have asked me to cover the total eclipse. Here is the astrological chart. I think this is around 4:30 p.m. And is when it will reach a full total eclipse. And I wanted to show you that Saturn, Kronos, officially moves into the 25th nakshatra with Mars, the drive on April 8th. And there's crypto being 25. Okay, the official move, because Kronos right now is in the 24th nakshatra. Okay, in Vedic astrology. That's why I favor Vedic, because to me it tells the original timelines. The tropical isn't the inevitability, but the Vedic sidereal is going to give you the real-time results. And when April 8th hits, Kronos is going to officially move into the 25th nakshatra right there. Now, will anything happen at that point? I don't know. Time will tell. It takes time. It's not instant for this kind of stuff. But all this energy here is just so significant and so telling. So very telling. And, you know, why Pluto is in Capricorn, because Capricorn represents, you know, real estate, money, earth, physicalness. Pluto coming here to wipe it out. See, if Pluto was really in Aquarius, well, then you'd have a wiping of technology and all that kind of stuff. I just don't see that happening. But again, it's multifaceted. Those of you that think Pluto is in Aquarius, it will have its degrees of merit in there, because there are some definitions of Pluto in Aquarius that does have some reverence here in this whole story here. But I just find this extremely interesting that he's got Kronos is moving into the 25th nakshatra, and Pope Francis, who is a Capricorn-born Pope, the very first one from the Tropic of Capricorn. He's got Capricorn in that 25th nakshatra, and it matches that placement right there, moving into there. So time will tell. Time will tell what's going to happen with this. I'm not a predictor. I don't know. But these are interesting connections nonetheless to look at with the Pope and cryptocurrency. But it seems that we're moving into this layer. And I mean, even these placements of the Mercury and the Sun there, and Rahu and all that kind of stuff, they're very, very telling and very, very fitting of what we're moving into. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. The Pope 201 complete, finalized. Appreciate each and every one of you for supporting this research over all the years we've been doing this. Big shout out to all you Patreons. Your support greatly is appreciated as well. But ladies and gentlemen, what did you see? What is it that you saw during this presentation? A lot of interesting connections, but now you know what the 201 really means. It's tied to Mercury, the messenger, which is, you know, the communicator, and it is the god of commerce. So now you can start to see how all this stuff kind of starts to shape out. But I would love to hear what you saw. Keep your comments coming. Just keep them cordial. It's all about loving you. You don't have to agree with everything I say. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for today. My name is Logan, Decode Your Reality. Until next time, we will see you later.